I talked about I had to eat some crow. I was very anti pitch clock. I was very anti large stolen bases or large bases to increase stolen bases. I just didn't see it. I was like, this is just going to create more offense and it's not going to speed the game up. It's going to slow it down because you're going to have more pitching changes, higher scores, blah, blah, blah. Completely wrong. Absolutely.
The game is
wrong.
back. It almost feels like the game is back in a spot when you and I were younger.
Agreed.
It feels like
it's fluid. It moves.
It feels like early 90s baseball.
There's tempo.
Yeah.
There's tempo.
And it's not just, hey, how far can I hit ball? Now,
No.
don't be wrong. Guys like Judge and Shohei are doing that every day.
Sure.
Did you see Judge's shot off the Hall of Fame wall?
I sure did.
Holy.
I sure did.
I think it was Passon who tweeted out, I've been to hundreds of games in this park. No one, not even during BP, has ever hit that wall.
Yeah, I get it. Yeah, that's...
But, without that being said, the Bobby Witts of the world who, he can hit for power, but he's also a 5-tool guy who can hit for average and get stolen bases and stretch a single into a double or a triple.
Jose Ramirez was one homer run away last year from 40-40.
Like, we're having more of that again. Like, having stolen bases alone. Forget the pitch clock. Take every other change, banning the shift, all those kind of things. Just the bigger bases alone, I would argue, has fundamentally changed the game for the better more than any single thing in sports since the advent of the three-point line.
Yeah, it's put more at risk, but you also feel like you can succeed more. So it's like that, what outweighs the measure sort of thing. And the next thing up in line is the automated strike zone. And I'm
interested to hear where you land on this.
I have to be very careful about this because my answer initially is no. It's like, no, what are we doing? Like, stop messing with the game. Like, the human element is such a huge part of the game. The imperfect game, all right? The Royals win a World Series on an egregious call at first base. We have these things that happen throughout baseball, and they're some of the most fascinating, talked about things of all time, and I think that's what makes...
Jim Joyce still beats himself
I know.
That
like, that's one thing that makes this game so romantic and makes the folklore and the history so amazing.
What was the call earlier this week? It was a pitch up and away, not even close to being like painting the corner. Both the pitcher and the catcher, pitcher starts to walk off the mound. Catcher, they both do the same thing. He calls the ball late, and the pitcher freezes. The catcher freezes like, dog, are you sure?
Yeah.
And it was it's 6 inches inside the box, and it's like, how did you get that one wrong, Snuffleupagus? Whoa.
That's what I'm getting at. Like, normally I say absolutely no. Like, let's keep the umpires in there. I like the human element. I don't want this to just become robotic and computerized. And if you look at the end of the season, the percentage of calls correct are still over 98%.
Yeah, unless you're Angel Hernandez.
Are still over 98%. So in theory, I'm kind of saying, okay, the data tells me that this isn't so bad. But boy...
It's the trickle-down effect from that one missed call. You mentioned it about your bet.
Cost me $65.
Look,
should have won $85 on a $20 bet.
When it should have been a K, instead, next pitch.
And so
it's a 2-run double.
I'm trying to find the metrics. I've been looking at it for days because I've also been trying to talk about this on the hot corner too, and I can't quite find it. But I'm trying to see how many ejections have happened this year in Major League Baseball in comparison to previous years. And I know there's stats out there. I just haven't quite found it because, boy, it feels like a lot. And maybe what feels like a lot is that I would argue, I'll bet you 90% of these are balls and strikes calls. And if dudes are getting tossed, players are getting tossed, they don't even care anymore. Fernando Tatis turns around to an umpire and says, "You're not invited to my birthday party anymore," and gets tossed for that. The umpires have become so sensitive, and the players have now decided that they don't care if they're getting tossed, and managers are getting tossed. Feels like every day somebody's getting thrown out. That if this is what has to happen to solve this problem, then I guess I have to be for it. And my initial feeling is to say, no, you're still messing with my game. One thing that bothers me with the NFL, I feel like every year rules change.
Yeah.
What is the catch? I don't know. Is this 2024 or 2023? I hate that. I hate that. And baseball kind of, for the most part, stays away from that. But I've been wrong. I've been wrong the last three things.
We've seen it through spring training. We've seen it through minors.
The shift, I always said, if you don't like the shift, quit hitting it to guys in the shift. If you don't, if you want to steal bases, steal bases. This is on you guys. But I was wrong about all that. So I have to kind of take a step back, and maybe I am correct. I do think it will continue to speed the game up.
Yeah.
And as long as it doesn't hurt the game, that's everything I'm
You're
afraid
always
of.
hesitant to that,
I'm
no matter what.
Always afraid of hurting the game. because we've been playing baseball this way for almost
What,
almost
150
200 years,
Yeah.
175 years since the Civil War, like things change, Bob Gibson, my favorite player of all time, he changed the game because he was so dominant.
Yeah.
Things like that happen, but I don't want it to be every single year, but this might be the change for the future. It might be worth it.
I mean, all of the feedback that's come out of spring training and minor league baseball has been that it's good.
And that's why I got to kind of
It's
like I don't
because-
want to be Clint Eastwood on my porch in
Yeah.
Gran Turismo with
Going-
a shotgun, Like I'm trying so hard not to be that, but part of me also likes kind of being that guy. I kind of like yelling at the clouds and don't stay away from my game, damn it.
Yeah.
But to increase the overall health of the game, it's probably got to happen.
Yeah.
It's going to be weird to see umps back there doing nothing. Like, what do? Do they just stand back away and just wait for plays at the plate? Call balks?
Probably. I
Give
mean,
timeout? Like, what does the umpire look like behind home plate with that? I don't watch enough minor league baseball to really know.
I mean, it's just.
Do we care?
No.
Yeah.
But,
Boy, do you think this is their punishment for 175 years of thinking they run the game?
Yeah. Well, I mean, look, man.
This is just karma's a bee.
On the ejection side of this, like, you're right. Like the emotional responses you've gotten from umpires, and look, there's times that players and managers cross lines, and yeah, I get it. But like
Terry Collins for life.
Yeah.
You got to give us a chance.
Yeah. But like, when you blow a call like so I grew up with Jimmy Joyce,
Yeah.
Jim's son,
Mhm.
and when Jim Joyce gets that call wrong at first base, it breaks his heart.
Yeah.
And that's why Jim was so well. I mean, Jim was a crew chief for, I want to say 30 years. Like,
Recently retired.
yeah,
Jim
Jim
Joyce.
was one of the best umpires in baseball.
Sure.
And he did the interview afterwards. He's like, I went in immediately and watched the review, and when I saw I got it wrong, it killed me. Like,
Next game, they're changing lineup cards, and he's just sobbing behind
yeah,
home plate.
because he knows like when you're talking about the history of the game and like
folklore, the
what he
romance.
just took from that kid, and Galarraga, to be as gracious as he was.
Boy, I would not, especially because his career ended after that.
Yeah, it's just but like that's what you don't get wrong
It's
now.
true.
You know what I mean? Like, now that part of it matters. Like, and it's. I
Real
mean,
quick-
yes, it's a first base call versus a pitch,
Sure.
strikes, but like, being able to.
That play's reviewable these days.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, and that's the advancement of the game.
Mhm.
You know what I mean?
It's funny. I don't have a problem with instant replay.
Yeah. See.
I don't, because I want to get calls right.
But that's the
As
same
long as
thing.
we're not doing it every play.
But with the automated balls and strikes, where it gets interesting for me is like when you've got a guy like Judge who's 6'8.5"
Versus a Jose Altuve who's my size.
Yeah. How and the guys like look.
A lot of people say that little box on TV is not. It's not a true strike zone
No.
because it changes for every play.
But that's what I'm saying. Like,
Yeah.
what can we actually see what that looks like? Because a guy like my favorite player of all time is Albert Pujols.
Mhm. The
AP's
machine.
6'2", 250.
He's a husky boy.
Big old dude, but he had a stance
Mhm.
that was so wide. Like
Mhm. He kind of was near in the back of the box, but he kind of leaned forward
Yeah,
because he was so
it,
big.
It wasn't Bagwell
pulse,
like
the
spread out,
pulse.
like sitting all the way down, but he was pretty close. Like, does his strike zone change because he's a guy that did like hunch down and made that zone smaller because of the way he hunched over, or does the zone stay the same size because of how big he is? Like,
Right.
are they taking measurements of guys from knees to their shoulders preseason and like that's your box? Like,
Maybe it's maybe they set something up in center field or from a sky cam or behind home plate.
you know what I mean?
or-
Like that's where like
that's true.
like when you're
That's-
talking about
that's
how they do it, I don't know. I'm not familiar with that side of it.
That's why I'm kind of curious, and I mean we're up against it, so we'll try to be quick on this. Does the automated strike zone benefit the the batter or the pitcher? Or neither?
Yeah.
That's going to be what's fascinating when it comes to. I don't think we have an answer, but that's going to be what I'm going to watch.
And then if
for.
you're a pitcher, now not only are you studying like how you do against guys, you're studying like their actual strike zone.
Yeah, and what would be funny is if framing goes away. Decades long of framing pitches, and now it's like, sorry, bud.
Well, yeah, I mean, you're talking about a guy.
There's a robot behind you.
I mean, you're talking about guys like Adley and the big dumper out here, who
Yeah.
are the two best pitch framers in baseball.
Yeah.
That skill no longer matters.
Let's talk about your boy Yadi Molina, maybe the second greatest defensive catcher of all
In the
time
history of the
behind
game.
bench.
Yeah.
Like all that work he did. What makes him a Hall of Famer don't exist no more.
Like And that's
But those are
always
the kind of
interesting.
things that terrify me,
Yeah.
though. That's the kind of stuff that scares me. You know, I probably should have said that about the shift when like Joe Madden first really introduced it. It's like, wait a sec, this isn't baseball.
Mhm.
But I had no problem with that. I don't know, maybe I'm just picky and choosy
It is. That's what it is because you're old and grumpy.
because
And
I'm
so am
old and
I.
grumpy.